Hey. What's up, everybody? LinkedIn, YouTube. So glad to be here for another episode of BizBuzz Live. I'm glad you're checking in with us here. We're here every single Friday. Today's show, we're going to talk about the fastest growing jobs in 2026. Some of y'all have been tapped in since last year, and we've been talking about the industries and the things that, or the areas that we can make some money. Well, let's see what LinkedIn has to say about 2026 jobs. So stick around. Oh, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of BizBuzz Live. I'm your host, Chris Muzan, your financial coach, financial strategist, helping you through all things finance and money. Glad to be back on this Friday, January 16th. Hope your 2026 has started off well. Hope you've had some good conversations, some good talks, some good ideas, all the things pointing you in the direction of growing your cash flow. Wasn't with you last week. I won't be with you next week either. But today we're here to be able to dive in and talk about some of these important things around cash flow. Again, I always start these shows, those of you that have been tapped in. And by the way, thanks for all the comments and thanks for all the DMs and like the private messages I've been getting with some of this content really helping you, even if like you're not liking it and commenting on the post. I know you guys are messaging me and talking about some of this stuff. So continue to do that. Feel free to tap in, shoot me a message. More than happy to help you down the path of anything you have going on financially. Even if you just need someone to talk to about some ideas and those types of things, that's what we're here to do. But again, I always start these shows off with the thesis, right? The thesis of why we started BizBuzz Live. You know, everything that I've been putting out content since 2016, 2017, something like that. And all of the content that I have tried to put out, very Gary V-esque, is hopes to bring value to you. I don't really do it for me. I hope these things bring value to you. A lot of these are conversations that I've been having in private with people, one-on-one with people. And I feel like when I hear the same things over and over again, that means more of you will get value from it. Right. So that's why we do this. This is just another extension of how can I add value to you and what are the conversations that we need to have to improve your financial life or your job life or entrepreneurial journey, whatever it is. The thesis of this show, we started because inevitably when I sit down with people and have these financial conversations, whether we start talking about savings or debt, or whether we start talking about insurance or investments, retirement, inevitably the conversation makes its way back to cash flow. It makes its way back to how is money coming in our life and how is money leaving our life. And I think, again, as a financial industry, we've done a great job of just talking to people about budgeting their money and tracking their money and knowing that like you need to see where all your money's going and make it simple for you to see how it's going out. Banks have done a good job with that. Apps, Rocket Money and back, before it was Mint and all these apps, right? Like they did a really good job of that stuff. Here's where I don't think we've done a good job. I don't think we've done a good job of teaching people all the paths of making money, of all the ways to make money, of all the industries that are available to people, of the certifications, the degrees, those things, right? Like all the stuff that will help you go make money. And that's where the kind of the genesis of this conversation came from. It's like, man, we need to start having conversations around how to make money, where to make money. Most of us grew up with the idea of just, figure out what you want to do at age 18. Crazy concept, right? Figure out what you want to do at age 18. Go to college for said thing. get a degree in said thing, and then go get a job in said thing. That job is going to pay you a lot of money or enough money to live your lifestyle. If not, go back to school, get higher education, and then go back to another job to get more money in said field and live that life over and over again. That is one path of making money, but that is like the only path we were taught. Then the gig economy came out, and it's like, oh, and you can drive Uber on the side, or you can, deliver food on the side, or you can walk someone's dog on the side, or you can rent out your house as an Airbnb on the side, and right, all these little side things, because we realized the one path they gave us didn't necessarily get us financially to the place we wanted to go. So then the gig economy came out, and everyone's a 1099, and everyone's got a little side thing they do, and Amazon needs drivers, and Uber and Lyft and all this stuff, right? And so that starts to happen. And so we start doing some of those things. And then there's a group of people that just want to be entrepreneurs and build businesses, and they're trying to figure out ideas and how to give them to the marketplace in exchange for money. And then everything in between, all the different industries, whether it's healthcare, whether it's retail and restaurants and engineering or the tech space, or right, whether we want to be blue collar and go into trades, or whether we're just going to stay like climb the corporate ladder and be upper level management or high, whatever the case is. But we have to start talking about all the ways to make money. I'll be honest, I'm a little biased towards the entrepreneurship side. I believe everyone should be more entrepreneurial in 2026. I just think that's the way. You'll hear people, I hear them in the comments already, right? Or people that say it's like everyone can't be an entrepreneur, right? Everyone can't be, everyone shouldn't be. Everyone, right? Who's going to work for people? Everyone, like, and this is where I draw the line, like as a differentiator. I always tell people there's a difference in like being an entrepreneur and running a business and taking on all the risk and all the stuff, and being more entrepreneurial. And being more entrepreneurial, entrepreneur minded, just being more entrepreneurial just means that you're taking more ownership. It's an ownership conversation. It's an ownership of your time, ownership of your life, ownership of your finances, ownership of how you choose to make money. It's just ownership. And I think in 2026, I believe in 2026, where we are, we need to start having these conversations about owning more, right? Just not just a physical house, right? Or physical business, but like owning your life, like how you choose to eat, how you choose to educate your children, how you choose to educate yourself, and how you choose to make money, and how you choose to, like, I think we just need more ownership of our life. And so that's where I'm a little biased. I push people down that path because I'm somebody that hasn't had a job in a very long time. And so I know the journey that this brings. I know what it brings for the emotional intelligence side of things. I know what this brings for the mental toughness side, the spiritual growth side. I know what this brings. And I think this helps our society get on track. All that being said, the reason why we do this show, again, is to talk about how to bring in more money, the ways to bring in more money, the industries that are making money, the industries that are not making money, the ideas you can think about to go off and be an entrepreneur, or the ideas you have to climb the corporate ladder and play the corporate game. It doesn't matter which side or which way we're going or which way you go, as long as your financial life gets impacted positively. I saw a TikTok that, and many of you, this could be you here on LinkedIn. There's many of you that literally just have a high paying job to support what you want to go do. It, like, your job, your 9 to 5, the thing you have pays for the thing that you want to build, your passion project, your thing. There's a lot of people like that. I specifically on this TikTok that I saw, the lady said all of the major players in the big tech companies, your Googles, your Microsofts, your Amazons, your Nvidias, all those places all of the people that work there, she said they all have side businesses. They all do something on the side, and they use their high paying engineer salary to then start to fund the thing that they want. That's what happens, right? And so that's a viable way to get out. That's a viable way to get out of the rat race. We just bought the cash flow board game from Robert Kiyosaki, right? The cash flow 101 game. Teaching my daughter how to play the cash flow game, and the kids one is real simple for her. She's 8. The kids one is simple for her. She's learning it, but like we're gonna get her to the big boy stuff, the big girl stuff, in that cash flow game. And so the objective of that game is to get out of the rat race, to get out of the rat race, to get off the hamster wheel, to literally you win the game by having your passive income overtake your expenses. That's how you get out of the rat race. You have something that brings you enough income that takes care of your expenses, and now you work on the things you want to when you want to. Well, many people are not out of the rat race yet. So I don't know if that's a goal for some of you, to get out of the rat race, to eventually get to a place where your time is yours. What you want to do with your time is yours, and you have all the money and time to do it. Sure. That's a goal for a lot of people. And so how do we get there, right? Like how does that process happen? What happens by us being intentional about what we even want to go off and build. And so I take that as an example of like, hey, you work at Google and you make, $300,000 a year at Google, and then you pay for yourself to build a real estate business or whatever. You're a surgeon, and then all of a sudden, you buy 5 McDonald's. You get a high paying job, and then you move the money somewhere. That is a viable way to make it happen. Today, I was going to talk about, it was very interesting here on LinkedIn. They shared an article that talked about the 25 fastest growing jobs. And so I figured we'd talk about it here, because you probably want to be in an industry that's growing, because there's opportunity, there's upside, there's a lot of it. And so because of that, we need to have these conversations. We need to take a look at, well, what are the areas that we should be focused on? If you're 18 to 23, these could be industries that you're like, oh, I could get into this. All right. And so I think this is just good perspective. I'm not going to go through all 25. I'm just going to kind of highlight a couple of them for us. Just highlight some of the ones that I think make sense for you to see. And so we have this graphic here. You see it. This is actually, there we go. This is specifically from LinkedIn. I don't know if this is big enough. Let's see if I can make it bigger. I don't know if I can. Yeah, there we go. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So again, 25 fastest growing jobs. We created this visual. It was just an article originally, and then we created the visual. So take a look here. Here's what it says. Here's what we're going to look at. So the first one says an AI engineer, fastest growing roles, fastest growing job. And I don't know that these are in specific order, right? But again, just pointing out some of these things. The AI engineer. Well, that wasn't on the list. That wasn't on our bingo card 10 years ago, right? That wasn't on our list 5 years ago. The AI engineer being a fast growing job. Either way, it's up there. The second one is AI consultants and strategists. So obviously, again, we don't have to continue to to beat a dead horse. I'm really trying to figure out how to like not say these sayings that talk about like hurting animals. Somebody put me onto that, because I used to say, there's 2 ways to skin a cat, or right, like kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or right, all of these things, right? Beat a dead horse. Like, I don't know why we have all these sayings that hurt animals, but shout out to the animals. We love the animals. Anyways, AI engineers, AI consultants, and strategists. So AI obviously is going to be an area you are going to want to lean into, not lean away from. If it's a fast growing role, you want to lean into it and say, hey, is this something that a skill I want to build? Is this an area that I want to be able to have expertise in, or be a thought leader in, or just get my, be able to work a job enough to, or have the skill sets enough to work a job in these areas? Not sure, but AI is obviously going to be something. It's a big deal. Number 3 says new home sales specialist. Shout out to my guy Terrell, right? Because I think he commented on this post. But that's what he's in, right? On that side, and obviously in the upper management side of things. But new home sales specialist, right? So going in and yeah, being able to service homes. Anyway, that's a big one. Data annotators is another one that you see on the list here. Data annotators. You have, again, AI researchers, healthcare reimbursement specialists. I don't even know what that means, in all honesty. A healthcare reimbursement specialist, but for some reason, LinkedIn believes that's one of the 25 fastest growing roles. Maybe there's something in the healthcare space that I'm not privy to, that maybe if you're in the healthcare space and you are privy to, you could see how this could be a big role. Again, I'm not in the healthcare space, but I'm curious. Drop your comments if you are in the healthcare space. How could a healthcare reimbursement specialist be utilized if it's one of the fastest growing jobs? What are we reimbursing? Are we reimbursing the insurance company? Are we reimbursing the client, the patient? I'm not sure, but that's on there. Strategic advisors, independent consultants. There's always going to be a need for some form of consultant, entrepreneur, advisor, right? Like those are always going to be people that are needed, and it's growing. Why? Because more people need more help. So that's there. Advertising sales specialist. So again, as we grow in this market, being able to sell is going to be important. Being a founder, one of the fastest growing roles is a founder. What does that mean? That means people are leaning into entrepreneurship. Like I said, I won't be with you guys next week, but the following week, we're going to talk about some stuff that's happening that I've been hearing, the millennial career crisis, and how there's a lot of millennials that are now thinking about switching their career completely. And again, millennials are, I think the youngest millennial is like in their like mid 30s. You know what I mean? So if you're in your late 30s and you're now just switching your career, and a bunch of people are going through this, and women getting out of the workforce, like there's a lot of stuff happening where people are moving towards being a founder, moving towards entrepreneurship. So again, I think that's a big, big deal. It says here, sales executives. Obviously, sales is always necessary. You've heard me say it on a bunch of these BizBuzzes that 2 skill sets you need if you want to go build something is sales and marketing, right? Those 2 skill sets, sales and marketing. Talking to my buddy T yesterday, he talked about, right, the leadership side of things too, which again, I failed to like put into that category as a skill set, but it absolutely is a skill set of leadership, how to deal with people, how to move people, and then sales and marketing. So I think those 3 areas are what are pushing people, again, to the entrepreneurship side. But again, if you want to be a sales executive, you got to learn sales. You got here on this list, commissioning managers, venture partners. Again, I'm pretty sure LinkedIn is taking this from what's in people's bios. Pretty sure, and there's probably some other data somewhere, but venture partners, right? People that want to partner to build something else. Field marketing representatives, fundraising officers. This is a big one. Fundraising officers, more nonprofits, more grants. As the government wants to start putting out more money and giving more money, you need people that understand how to fundraise. Many organizations hire people to help fundraise, and that's obviously something that's growing. Background investigators, not sure why that's growing, but it is, I guess. I don't know. I'm just pulling some hypotheses here. but maybe from a background a background side of things, because we're so much on the internet and people don't know people, right? You're meeting new people. Maybe just having people research your background will be important. I'm not sure, y'all, but that's an interesting one. Background investigators, yeah. Business development executives, data center technicians. I live in an area where they have data centers popping up, or they want data centers to pop up over here, and people to work those. Now, there's been a debate, right? There's been a debate that that data centers don't actually bring a lot of employees. They don't actually bring a lot of jobs because there's not a lot of people that need to run data centers, mostly computers, right? But here, one of the fastest growing roles is a data center tech, a technician, somebody that understands how to operate the machines of the data center. That's important. Travel advisors up here, psychiatric nurse practitioners. So not just nurse practitioners, psychiatric psychiatric nurse practitioners. What is that saying about our mental health in this country? Anyway, quantitative research and analysis, financial advisors and planners, always there. Construction project leads. We're in desperate need for housing in this country. So construction project leads are going to be important. Legal researchers, public affairs specialists, benefit advisors round off the list. Those are the jobs on the rise, according to LinkedIn in 2025. Some of these you've seen before, some of these you might not have thought could have been on the list. Here's a conclusion I pulled from this list. I think I may have heard someone else say this, but I pulled this conclusion from this list. These are all industries that you typically don't go to school for. Like, if you just look at these lists, almost all of these roles, all of these jobs are things that you either with your expertise land in, or you pivot careers and you get into. But none of these are like, I go to school for this. Right? Like, no one goes to school for the quantitative research and analysis. You're not going to go to school to be a data center technician. You're not going to school to be a travel advisor. You're not going to school to be a healthcare reimbursement specialist, or an advertising sales specialist, or a venture partner, or a benefits advisor. Like, these aren't typical corporate roles. And I want us to like land the plane there. I want us to land the plane on the fact that what LinkedIn is just showing in 2026 of the fastest growing roles, none of these are things that like are typical corporate positions. Like, these aren't like your entry level, like your standard entry level or mid level. I have my bachelor's degree in this area, and so that is my job. These are all just like kind of one-off or like off industry type of roles that if you just have a skill set in it or an expertise around it, you can land that title. I believe we're living through a time, y'all. I think we're living through a time that like, it's not really about your specific job title. Maybe I'm regurgitating things that I've heard before about the portfolio resume. Is that really what it is? I think maybe the portfolio resume, but it's really not about your title. It's about like, what skill sets do you have? And then we'll find a title for you. What is your expertise in? And we'll find something for you to do. That list that I just showed you, again, put it back up on the screen for you. This list of the top 25 fastest growing roles and jobs in 26 are not things that are typical corporate America titles. New home sales specialist, data annotators, sure, maybe sales executive is probably number 10. Sales executive is probably the most traditional there, but commissioning managers, again, fundraising officers, data center technicians, travel advisors, background investigators. These are not your typical positions you go to school for. And so because of that, I think LinkedIn is telling us we need to start thinking about work differently. You need to start thinking about work differently. This is all I've been talking about on BizBuzz Live for a few years now, is you probably need to start to think about how you make money differently. It's no longer I went to school for this thing and then I got a job in this thing. There's going to be very few of those. Not that it's going to go away completely, not that it's gone away, but there's going to be very few of those types of jobs where it's like, I went to school for this thing, doctor, engineer, whatever those things are. And then I came out and that's what I went and did in my profession. A lot of these roles over the next decade, probably, we're not even going to know our actual roles until someone, I think 2 years ago, 2 years ago, people were talking about prompt engineering, right? Being a role that was like a fast growing role, prompt engineering. Now people aren't necessarily prompt engineering, but you see on that list, again, you see on this list that it says AI engineers. Now it could have evolved from prompt engineering to just engineers, but this job title was not around 8 months ago or a year ago or whatever it was. Why? Because all of this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, again, is really based on you, your talent, your skill set, your ability to get new skills and then create the job title. Just by your skills, you're going to start doing work that's going to create the job title for you. And I think that's where we're headed in 2026 when it comes to the future of work and like what jobs and careers people are going to have. You saw that list. There's lots of different industries to pay attention to, whether it's healthcare, obviously AI and tech, whether there's, branching off and being an entrepreneur and being a founder, whether you're in the data center, whether you're travel, sales, whatever it is. We have to start thinking about money, the way you make money, a little bit differently, y'all. Okay, so take a look at that article. Go back to, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, go back a few posts back. I don't know, this is about a week ago. We had posted that. Go look at the article specifically from LinkedIn and do your own homework, do your own research. Find out, do you have any skills in those areas? If not, would you want to build skills in those areas? If your job is not fulfilling you, if it's not making all the money you want to, if you don't have a passion for it and all the stuff, like, could one of those things on that list fulfill you? Could one of those things on that list be something that you start putting some time and energy into? My idea is yes, if you want it bad enough, if you really want to go off and change your financial life a bit. All right. So again, every Friday, y'all, we're diving in here on BizBuzz Live to talk about how we can make money. I'm curious to hear your ideas on today. I'm curious to continue to hear your ideas, continue to shoot me messages, right? And let me know kind of how you're thinking about making more money, how you're thinking about switching careers. Like I said, we won't be here next Friday, but the following Friday, we're going to come back and we're going to start talking about this great, millennial career shift that's happening, the things that are happening in us getting to the ability to make money in the ways that we want to. That's really it. Finding fulfillment, being in alignment with who we are and what we want to do, not putting all of our energy into a company or a thing that's not giving us back the same energy, or we can't reciprocate those things. That's where we're going to keep taking this conversation in 2026, y'all. But continue to tap in here every Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Pacific. We're diving in. We're having these conversations around how to increase your cash flow, what industries to pay attention to. Do something this weekend that scares you, y'all. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. Until next time. Peace.